This meeting is being recorded.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are. This is another part of Become a cTrader Master webinar, and today we are going to talk about the ETFs. This webinar is made with cooperation of the TopFX. As you can see, I'm right now on the TopFX webpage, and if you, of course, want to know more about the ETFs, let's just find out what it actually is. If you go to trading and then scroll down through the markets menu, you will find out the ETFs here. When you click on it, there is a dedicated page related to the ETFs. So as you can see, the ETFs, there is 18 iShares ETFs that you can choose from to buy, or of course and sell, and those come from the award-winning TopFX cTrader. The leverage is up to 1 to 20 with ultra-fast and reliable execution, tight spreads, zero commissions, and of course you can trade the ETFs on the cTrader. So maybe not all of you are familiar with the term ETF, so let me just briefly tell you guys what it exactly is. So what are ETFs? The ETF is an exchange traded fund, which, unlike regular mutual fund, trades like a common stock or a stock exchange. So the units of an ETF are usually bought and sold through a registered broker or recognized stock exchange, and the units of an ETF are listed in a stock exchange, and the NAV varies as per market movements. Since units of an ETF are listed in the stock exchange only, they are not bought and sold like any normal open-end equity fund. So in the simple terms, ETFs are funds that track indices, for example, such as, for example, S&P 500, Dow Jones, Nasdaq, or anything, any other indices. When you buy shares or units of an ETF, you are buying shares or units of a portfolio that tracks the yield and return of its native index. The main difference between ETFs and other types of index funds is that the ETFs don't try to outperform their corresponding index, but simply replicate the performance of the index. Okay, so don't try to beat the market. They don't try to beat the market. They try to be the market. ETFs typically have higher daily liquidity and lower fees than any other, let's say, mutual fund schemes, making them an attractive alternative for individual investors. But here in TopFX, you can trade CFDs on ETFs, so you don't actually buy units of the ETFs, but you buy contract for difference, or contract for difference on some particular ETFs. We in TopFX here we have 15 iShares ETFs that you can trade with the leverage up to 120. So basically, what's the advantage of another advantage of having the ETFs in your portfolio? Because when you if you are trading your leverage, if you are trading the ETF with the leverage, it means that you gain exposure to a larger amount of iShares for a smaller deposit compared to an investor who holds physical assets. Okay, now of course, just remember that leverage is also maximize risk. So the CFDs on the ETFs enable you to speculate on the rising or falling prices of an underlying asset without owning it. If the market moves towards your position, you make a profit. If the market moves against you, your position, you make a loss. So this is the situation with the ETFs on the TopFX. So let's just find out what kind of ETFs we have here for you to offer. Of course, we got the cTrader here, as you can see. The cTrader the platform is the one that you can trade the ETFs. And if you go here to the trade menu, you get forex, cryptocurrencies, metals, energies. We are going to talk about those markets next time. However, if you slide here, it's the iShares ETFs menu you are looking for, basically. So what do we have here? We got MSCI Canada, MSCI Italy, Malaysia, Singapore, South Korea, Taiwan, and United Kingdom. Please remember that you can trade the ETFs, like the MSCI for the Canada, during the particular hour. So if you, of course, go to the right-hand side and you input the MSCI Canada, or let's say any other index like MSCI, I don't know, United Kingdom, for example, you can trade it only during certain market hours, as you can see here. Why? Because those ETFs are being listed on the US stock exchanges, where the iShares are listed as well, which is why you cannot always you can't trade ETFs all the time, like forex, for example, like euro dollar or cable or something like this. You have to trade them in a very specific time window, most likely and very often during the New York session, okay, trading session. So what do we have here? MSCI Canada, Italy, Malaysia, Singapore, South Korea, Taiwan, and United Kingdom. Let's take a look, for example, on the MSCI Taiwan. What is this kind of the ETF? As you can see, we got this is a M1 time frame. Let me go to the weekly. Straight on, we are going to the weekly time frame. As you can see, this weekly time frame is showing us here. That's of course the weekly time frame, which means that every candle is 1 week, and you can see you can trade this market the way you want it. Let me just switch my account here so I can show you guys how to open the position on the particular market where I went. Do I have my MSCI as a particular energies, cryptocurrency, iShares ETFs? There you go. What we were at Taiwan. Okay, we were at Taiwan. Yes. Okay, this is the same one. Okay. So what you can do, of course, you can trade this market by using the shares units. Okay, so basically let's input, I don't know, 50 shares. What we want to do, let's say we want to buy, for of course, this market, and as you can see, trade was opened very swiftly. Quantity is 50 lots. Direction is buy. Entry is 44.1. Take profit is 64.1. Stop loss is 34.1. As you probably remember, those levels are predefined in my settings. If you go here and click on the quick trade, you can set this settings immediately. All the type settings, as you can see, for market order, stop loss is 10 pips and take profit is 20 pips all of the time. Every time I open new position, this is predefined, so I can basically trade without inputting them over and over again. That's a trick from me to you guys to see how quickly you can trade basically this kind of ETF. But if you want to talk about some specific ETFs, we need to know what kind of a market this ETF is following, for example, right? So I have prepared my web page for from the iShares, and this web page is there you go. This is the iShares webpage for the MSCI Taiwan ETF. So basically, we can take a look and see what is going on with this ETF. What kind of index this ETF is following, right? So we are exposed to this ETF is exposed to large and mid-sized companies in Taiwan, targeted across the Taiwanese stock market, and is used to express a single country view. And the iShares MSCI Taiwan ETF seeks to track the investment results of an index composed of the Taiwanese equities. So Taiwanese equities, this is what we are following. With this ETF, of course, those are the data for the actual ETFs. But what we want to do is the key facts, basically. So, as you can see, under this fund, there is how much money is under this fund? Okay, excuse me. Where is the exchange? The exchange is 𝗙cie𝗹𝗹cie. So, as you can see, this is the 𝗙cie𝗹𝗹cie market, which is, of course, 𝗙cie is a stock exchange in US. It's a New York Stock Exchange. There's a benchmark index, of course, how many shares there is, what's the premium discount, what's the last closing price, what's the 30-day average volume. All of these statistics you can find out on the iShares webpage. Nothing new here. Portfolio characteristics, what's included in this ETF. As you can see, number of holdings, there's 90. There's 90 holdings. There is a standard deviation in the 3 years is 26%. Price to book value ratio is 1.77, and the other statistics, if you like to take a look at this, that's not a problem. You can, of course, take a look on all of these statistics here. But what I want to see, of course, this is the actual fund, but what I want to see is what are the holdings actually, what we are following, okay, what this ETF is actually trying to track. So as you can see, we got Taiwan Semiconductors Manufacturing, we got MediaTek, we got United Microelectronics, Delta Electronics, China Steel, and so on and so on. We can switch to another web page, and we can see we got Formosa Plastics, we got Unipresent Enterprises, and so on and so on. So if you know, and those of course are different sectors on the exchange. So if you know what you are looking for in the Taiwan index, you can find out, of course, if it's included in this into the holdings, and you can follow. For example, let's say you will follow the Novatech Microelectronics Corporation. Okay, so if you go to this let's say this company website, or maybe you will find some kind of a website that will track the Novatech Microelectronics charts with you know, what's the open price, what's the closing price, what's the average, and stuff like this. And if you decide to invest in one of these companies, or maybe in Novatech, but you don't want to be that much exposed to these companies, of course, you don't want to start straight on buying the ETF. You can find out that maybe the better thing for the beginning is to trade some sort of the CFD on ETF on TopFX, and then you can find out if this is something that you would like to do. You know, later on, maybe you want to expand your ETF portfolio later on when you get familiar with it, and if you find out that this is something and that you would like to do. Of course, the difference in the particular ETFs is related to the country. For example, we got the Canadian, we got the MSCI Italy, as well here, Malaysia. Pacific is let's find out what is the Pacific, because I'm curious what is the Pacific. So let me just find out what is the Pacific. So we got iShares MSCI, but we need the Pacific. So let me just do the search. Let me do the search of the, there you go. The keyword will be MSCI Pacific. Is that correct? And which one we would like to choose? We would like to choose MSCI Pacific excluding Japan. Is that the one? I guess it should be, yeah, there is no other one. There's only this one. iShares Core MSCI Pacific ETS. This might be this one, actually. Yeah, this is the Pacific ETFs, and as you can see, of course, there is a description of this fund. And let me just find out what is the current, let's say, there you go, holdings. And we got, wow, we got Toyota, we got Sony Group, we got the Key Science, Mitsubishi, National Australia Bank, plenty of the holdings and various holdings from the different sectors, materials, information technology, healthcare. Hitachi is, excuse me, Hitachi is here. Tokyo Electronics, Hong Kong exchanges and clearing. So some kind of a financial sector is included. Very serious financial sector. Hoya Corporation, Mitsui, Honda Motors. So as you can see, how many holdings is here? How many holdings is here in this ETF? Let me just find out. 1,536. This is a big ETF, to be honest with you, and I think that this is the ETF that might be very interesting to follow. Basically, with this kind of holdings inside of the ETF, we can, of course, we can, let's say, try to bet whether the Chinese economy will go up or down. Because, of course, if you don't know that, let me just tell you something, that if the Chinese economy is going up or down, the other economies around the world, like, for example, the Australia, New Zealand, and the surrounding countries in the Asia Pacific region, will actually react very fast on this situation. Okay, why? Because most likely the Australia is basically a kind of it's an importer of the plenty of the goods from China, and of course what the China is taking from the Australia are resources, natural resources like oil, like all of the let's say like a coal, and all of these resources that are needed for the economy to grow. So they are codependent, right? If one goes up, the other goes up. If one goes down, the other goes down. So they are codependent and correlated to each other. So this is maybe why they are in the same ETF. So I'm just trying to guess here what is going on and how they figure it out. Basically, with this ETF. So again, plenty of the ETFs, most likely from the plenty of the Asian countries, Malaysia, Pacific, Singapore, South Korea, Taiwan, and then Canadian ETF, and Italy and United Kingdom, 2 European countries, one North America country, Canada. Basically, so it's only up to you. How do you want to trade it? You need to, of course, if you want to, what I mean is like, do you want to trade it from the technical point of view? Not a problem. You can trade it from the technical point of view. For example, there is some pattern right now being made on the daily time frame chart of the MSCI Pacific, on a Pacific ETF. So as you can see, maybe some kind of let's say head and a shoulder. So left shoulder, head, right shoulder, maybe some kind of this kind of a pattern. Or if you want to find out what are the holdings, which of these holdings performs great, which of these holdings performs poorer, and all of this macro data, you can dig in on iShares webpage as well. So if you prefer the fundamental research, macro research, that's not a problem as well. You can mix both the technical and the macro approach to the analysis, and then of course make the decision whether you want to trade it or not. Nevertheless, what you will choose, it's up to you. You are of course eligible to choose both of these approaches or only one of them. But if you want to trade ETF, you need to know that those are exchange traded funds, and those ETFs are on the stock exchanges. This is the CFD on ETF that you can trade with leverage. That's very important, because on the actual stock exchange, you cannot trade with actual leverage. You need to have the same amount of money that you want to buy the stock, the, the amount of stock you want to buy. Okay, so this is of course a very comfortable situation for someone who is in a situation when he doesn't have enough money to buy the particular ETF or stocks or something like this. So trading CFDs on the ETFs is the way to go, especially if you are good into the analyzing the whole, let's say, the whole economy of the, well, in that situation of the country, like Canada, like Italy, like Malaysia, like of China, Pacific, or Australia. So you can see this is ETF for the Pacific, or Taiwan, or maybe United Kingdom. Okay, so if you are that good, if you if you feel that you can do it, or you can maybe practice and learn how to analyze and how to make the decision according to this this situation, not a problem. You can do it on TopFX trading CFDs on the ETFs. On the other hand, of course, you can always trade using the technical analysis or mix of both, because as you can see, all of these markets are very, very violate. They are moving up and down, up and down. They are very liquid. There's no problem to open the position, even like a 50 lots or 100 lots. That's no problem to open. And of course, the fees are competitive to other brokers, basically. So even if you will try to use the simple method of the technical analysis, then you can be you can trade the ETFs on TopFX as well, this way, of course, right? So this is what I'm just want to tell you, that the CFD on ETF is a pretty good beginning to get into the ETFs. Maybe that will be something for you. Not everyone has to trade forex or cryptocurrencies, or maybe, I don't know, indices or shares. Maybe if that will be something that you feel really good, that making you profit, that is actually something that you want to do in the future for a longer period of time, this is pretty good beginning to start. This is where you start, especially because the fees are low and you can use some leverage, 1 to 20. That's not that big leverage, not a small leverage as well. It's like a kind of a medium-sized leverage, very nice for the traders. And of course, when you dig into it, when you find out if you like it, if you prefer this kind of a trading, maybe sooner or later you will be able to maybe expand your portfolio into the actual ETF on the on the stock exchange, and maybe buy some units of the ETFs, and then of course be the how they call it, a big fish on the financial markets. Nevertheless, this CFD on ETFs are pretty good beginning for all of the beginners, or for everyone who is interested in starting into the ETFs, which is why I've been talking about it for the last half of the hour. I hope everything is clear. I hope you got the idea behind the ETFs. You know how to trade it. You know how to find the information, what's behind, for example, MSCI Canada, what's included, where to find it. Please remember iShares webpage. Everything is there. Not a problem. Every information regarding the ETFs is for free. And you can find the information you need. You can analyze them. You can be the macro trader, or you can combine both macro and technical systematic analysis. So I can't say anything more. I think that's enough for our today meeting. CFDs on ETFs are another group of markets that you can trade on TopFX. And if you want to, please check it out. Maybe you will find something interesting for you that will encourage you to explore the very vast world of the forex, of the currencies, ETFs, shares, and generally of the financial markets. Thank you very much for this meeting. I hope you guys like it, and I think we should meet again the same time, same hour next week to speak about another very exciting markets that we have here in TopFX. For now, I wish you a very good week. So have a nice week, guys, and I hope I will see you again. Take care and Bye-bye.